All right, here we are again. My name is Jim. That is Joe over there. Go ahead, Joe. Take it away.
Hey, this is Joe LaBarbera over here in Stillwater, New Jersey, Sussex County, and this is my friend Jim over in Sandyston. Today we're still in Bergen County. We're still in the land of controlled opposition for the enemy. And, today we're going to hit Legislative District 36. Now, here's what's significant about this. Election wise, it's the same story as the other ones we've been doing. Big group of independents, Republicans here, Democrats here. They're pretty much the same size. Some areas you got a little bit more Dems, some areas you got a little more Republicans. There's usually one township that's like all Republican, and one or two townships that's all Democrat. And then the Democrats end up winning by a sliver. You got an independent vote. We don't know where they're voting. We don't know who they're voting for. It's like this huge wild card. It's like I'm throwing a grenade in a room. Boom! That's the independent vote in New Jersey. Here's what's going to be the kicker in this, what you're going to see. This is where the analysis draws to. Don't forget, the numbers don't lie. We're pulling actual numbers. We're Oprah requesting them. Jim is doing an amazing job getting this information, modeling it, and presenting it. Then we get together, we build the charts, and we're looking at the money. So we're looking at votes, and we're looking at money. That's all we're doing. We're not assessing candidates. We're not giving out strategy. We're not saying this is the real conservative, this is the rhino. We're not playing that game. All we're doing is looking at money and votes, pure. And here's really, really interesting. We're seeing a pattern here, and then we're all in this district especially. The Democrats are spending incredible amounts of money on themselves. They are profiting from these elections. And we're going to dig into those numbers and show you some interesting stuff. We're going to show you the map. We're going to show you where the district is for those of you who are not familiar. We're going to go in and we're going to give you a quick briefing on who the players were on the Democrat side. We're not going to even address the Republican side. There was no money. So it was a no-show. Yet they still only lost by 5%. It was like you don't even get in the ring and you almost win by knockout. And you lose by technical. What's the analogy? You don't even get in the ring and you barely lose the fight. But they don't even show up in the ring. So it's crazy. So I'm not even going to go into the Republican side. They didn't spend any money. If you don't spend any money,
And it might be that they were really good candidates. We don't know. I've never met any of the candidates, as far as I know.
We're not going to get into it. We're not right. Even because it's becoming more and more irrelevant from the analysis who the Republicans are. I mean, get a mannequin up there who says I'm a Republican, and it might be the same. The elections are happening.
I think it does. I do think the candidate does play a big role there. A candidate can really influence. A really strong candidate who hits the right numbers and does the right things. I think they can have a great influence. But for us, we can't there's no variable numbers that we can put in there. There's no formula that we can create that can change that and make that happen.
Not without any money. Not without any money. If he's got no money, then I mean, I don't know if it could be the greatest. It could be George Washington come back to life.
Yeah, I mean, you to send 120-some thousand mailers out in a district with registered is a lot of cash. It's a lot of cash, and these people are not reporting anything, and that usually means they're not spending anything beyond what's within the legal limit before you have to report it. Well, so I mean, I think a lot of it could be word of mouth. I mean, or just discussed with the Democrats.
Yeah.
I mean, so we can't factor that in. Yeah, I mean, we can't really. Let me pull the map up, and we'll. So for those,
let me finish orienting. We're going to do the numbers, and then we're going to talk about the actual contributions that the Democrats received. And a lot, since I've only been doing this operative stuff for like 2.5 years as a Republican operative, and you hear a lot of stuff. Now you're going to see the real deal. Who's sending money to who? And it was kind of eye-opening for me.
Yeah. So here's the map of most of New Jersey. You can see we're going to be coming up to here in this area right here where the pointer is. So let me bring that up for you.
For those of you not from New Jersey and think New Jersey is in sub-Saharan Africa or someplace like that, where we're looking at is just south of the George Washington Bridge, right across the Hudson River from New York City.
Yep, and it's right here in the center of where I'm circling. That's the district, and it is all in Bergen County except for one town, which is Passaic, which is in Passaic County. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it works. And so it's pretty much a dominant Bergen County district with only one town outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the map for us, Joe. And Fort Lee is right here. That's where the George Washington Bridge would be, and our district is right over here.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Good orientation.
Okay, so the next topic. Let's look at the slides. Oh, there we go. These are
Oh, for the people out there, viewing, go and maximize the screen. You have to maximize the screen. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of data. We're trying to do a lot. Maximize. I've had a lot of people get back to me like, Joe, I can't read. I'm old. I got bad eyes.
right.
Maximize the screen. Still, if you need some information, hit us up. We'll send it to you. Maximize the screen. Okay.
Right.
So Bergen County District. This is a Bergen County District. Like Jim said, there was one part of Passaic. And here's what we observed. 2019, its partner district, the district, its neighbor, loses decisively to the Dems. They're crushed. They're shit stomped.
Right.
In 2022, they changed candidates and had a slight increase in money, and they almost win. We did LD 38 already. They lost by a hair. All they did was put up decent candidates, and all they did was spend a little bit of money. The Dems still blew them away with money, but they lost by a very, very small margin. What was it? It was like 4%?
Something like that. It was only
Very low.
about 3,000 votes. I think it was 3,000 votes. Maybe
Out of
2,000.
3,000 votes out of 144,000.
Yeah, 2,000 votes. I think for the senator, 3,000 votes for
Yeah.
the assembly. I think that
Yeah,
was
like 3,200 or something like that. But a sliver. I mean, it was obvious if they'd have gotten more support and more messaging, it would have racked up more independent votes. And then they left a lot of Republican votes on the table that they didn't get. Yeah, so that's what happened in LD 38. So if you do a little bit of effort, it shows it matters. So this wringing the hands and saying, the Republicans will never win. I'm on own. I mean, that's just pathetic. We can win. Okay, look, LD 38 is a great example. Two candidates who had a pulse and money, and a little bit of money. What was it? $1.67 a vote? I think they spent.
I'm getting it for you right now.
Yeah. Well, let's not. We don't want to revisit LD 38, but
it was 7 cents for the Republicans for the assembly. It was 7 cents per vote, and for the Democrats in the assembly, it was $10.18.
Oh yeah, I must have been thinking about LD 11, $1.67 per vote. Yeah, so Republicans are like pennies.
But for the state senate, it was $22 for the state senate vote per vote, and the Republican was 30 cents. So I mean,
and they still almost won.
Yeah.
So get a Republican with a vote, with a pulse, and spend more than a couple of dollars per vote, and you're going to win this election. So, but what are the Dems doing in all this? So 36 is a great example of how the Democrats operate. They don't care if the Republicans show up to play or not. They're still going to spend that money, and they're still going to barely win. And because the elections are their business. You look at all these, and we're going to show you who these Democrat candidates are. When you see these Republican candidates, they have real jobs and real lives and real careers. When you see these Democrat candidates, politics is their business, and they do patronage jobs, or they do politically oriented type jobs. And look what they spent in 2019. They spent $5.5 million. No record of Republican. So the Bergen GOP especially spent nothing. Now I've gotten the feedback that, Joe, county parties don't spend money on these kinds of elections, and if they do, it's only for candidates. Well, that's wrong. They're talking, this is the way it is. Well, the way it is wrong. And what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So 124. The Bergen didn't spend any money on them. I don't think the New Jersey GOP did. So there are 124,000 voters in this district. And then there's the cooker. And Jim found all this. This is incredible.
And we're not done. We're not done looking either.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
you ready to go to the next slide?
Just real quick. Look at the bottom bullet here with the Dems did. Next slide. We got the state senator in the middle column. and on the right, who the assemblymen are. This is what they spent. Shayer, Gary Shayer. Am I saying his name right?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. And Jim, what'd you find out about Gary Shayer's job?
Uh,
What's his
so
career?
I'm gonna show. I'm gonna show the. I have to show the actual thing, right? I gotta show that.
Uh,
Hold on. Let me pull this out.
uh,
Um, let me. His job is legislature. The guy, every other one else out there seems like they at least have shame. They want to have, these guys who are living off the public trough. They at least try to say they have a job, something else that they do. These other two, one of them, he's a real estate development guy,
mhm.
and this guy,
A 37-year-old real estate developer. Now,
yeah, yeah,
I've known a lot of real estate developers. They're usually older guys,
yeah,
because they've been in construction or they've been in private equity, or he's a young real estate developer. God bless him.
right. Right, and I mean, and this guy's the head of a hospital. He's the COO of a hospital. These guys have
Yeah,
shame. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
we got jobs. We got jobs, right? I mean,
Well,
okay, we
he's got a legitimate resume. He's got a
yeah,
legitimate
legitimate,
resume. Chief
legitimate.
operation officer of a major children's hospital.
Yeah, yeah,
He's actually gone to a real school. He's actually gotten a real
yep,
degree. Yeah, he's
yep,
yeah, he looks I mean, this is more sound. He smells a lot more Republican than a Democrat, but he is a Democrat.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and then this guy, like you said, very young to be a
a real
principal
estate
of
developer, right?
a real estate. Yeah, he's the principal of the real estate and development investment, La Cova companies. Okay, he's a little young for that, but okay, all right. This guy, legislator, that's his job. He is
So you
a
go to school for political science, and then you go work for a political party, and the Dems pay their people. Unlike the Republicans, the Dems pay their people.
never. He's a Joe Biden. He's the Joe Biden of
Yeah, he's the Joe Biden of New Jersey.
the Joe Biden of New Jersey. I mean, at least Murphy had a job in a bank, right? I mean, at least he could
Yeah,
say,
no,
"I was a
Murphy
public
comes from a
sector."
legitimate
Yeah,
industry with a
yeah.
legitimate career. Yeah.
This guy, he's Joe Biden.
Yeah. Well, I like to say that Governor Phil Murphy is his official job is working for Goldman Sachs, and his hobby
Still,
is governor of New Jersey.
yeah, yeah. No, we'll take that. We'll take that. I mean, again, I just find it incredibly,
Mhm.
no shame, no shame. It's just like, yeah, that's what we're doing. It's my full time job, and you know what? I gotta say that might be reflected in his expense account. I mean,
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the tape now.
are you ready to go there? I mean,
I do.
did you finish
But
with the
let's
slides?
just
You want to go back to the slides, or
yeah, let's go back to the slides. Let's go back to the slides. We can finish briefing
all
and
right?
blow it
So
up. Then it. Yeah, so 2.8 million for vote for the state senator and 56% of the vote. But the Republicans spent zero zip that we're tracking.
yes,
And the Dems still spend all this money. So their money is their patronage. By spending all this money, they're buying their votes. They're influencing people to support them.
and buying their power in office too. I mean, getting people to go out and agitate and be their base. I mean,
Mhm,
that's how they get people to to say that they have all this kind of support.
mhm.
And it's just
He
it's
spent
just clear.
$56 per vote. It's
Yeah,
$56 in a district that is a geographically significant location, south of the George Washington Bridge, across the river from the city. It's a significant location.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see the numbers later. But all this money he's spending for all this money, you're going to see the Dems spending. Would they win by 4%?
By very very. I
Yeah,
mean, it was really really close.
yeah, it was
Uh,
really close. So, and then with the assembly, it's very interesting. Our buddy Cher, whose only job's been political patronage jobs, he only gets 55.2% of the vote. If I'm a professional politician, I think that I'd be kicking ass a little bit better. But considering his opponents were financial no-shows, that's not significant. Considering he spent 2.2 million, Galbraiths really didn't need to spend much, only 144,000, which is way more than any Republican candidate ever spends. and he only got 54% of the vote. So he was kind of like, I would say he's on the coattails of Scheyer. He was like on his coattails. And then Scheyer writes himself a check for $400K out of his campaign to his savings account. How do you do that? You run for office and you make 400 grand for an election cycle while you have another job. Good for him. Good for him. God bless him.
He doesn't have any other job than to be a legislator. By the way, the one of the guys, Arima, who was running against him, was a Jersey City firefighter.
Oh,
He
Rima's a
works
good
at
man. Yeah.
and he was in the Army, U.S. Army. He was a veteran. So
Arima, in terms of character and in depth, and Arima's like your all-American guy running for office. He's been on the street. He's a working class guy. He's done all these jobs. He was a veteran, fire department, like you said. But I mean, he's got no money. I mean, he's on video all the time, door knocking. We said we were going to make this about the Republicans, but I mean, these guys are financial no-shows. They're hanging out there flapping. They're busting their asses. They're good candidates, and they're still barely losing.
Yeah, and I mean, and the other guy, Vizio, is an electrical contractor. I mean, blue collar guy. I mean, these are again, and I mean, I guess in one way we can make the connection to the LD11 crew when they, just two average, ordinary people, whereas we got people who are, the Democrats have these politicians running, and it's just complete politics, whereas the Republicans, they got ordinary average guys, and they're us. They're the ordinary people.
They're working class. They're working class.
Yeah, you're not going to see the Democrat leadership, these three guys. You're not going to see them down at the diner unless they're there for a campaign thing. You might see the other guys down there because with their family, they take their family out. They go out there. That's where they're eating because they don't go to the big fancy restaurants. They go to the place where they can afford. I mean, that's what I do. I mean,
so here's what's good though is when you're going to see the highlight when we go through the financials. The Dems for the assembly race spent $11,000 on food and just hanging out,
just on bagels and pizza and
drinks.
So
in the 2.5 years I've been with the Sussex County GOP, I've never even been bought lunch.
Yeah, and that's a real
never
quick.
Even paid for my gas.
Yeah,
I raised $10,000 for them in a fundraiser, and all I got was, "Hey, good job, Joe."
The Democrats pay for gas. Democrats pay for gas.
Oh yeah, no, I know they pay for a lot of things.
And to be clear,
right in Sussex County, Jim, in Sussex County, the guy who was the executive, the kid who was the executive director of the Democrats of Sussex County for Gottheimer's first race. Yeah. They gave him a job at the age of 23 with a political science degree. They gave him a six-figure job running the Newton DMV.
I know.
All right. Go ask any Republican leader in Sussex County for a job. See what happens to you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. That's what I say. Good luck.
Good luck. I'll write you a nice letter someday, maybe. But to be clear, the 11K.
They won't put their asses on the line.
No, they won't. The 11K. Well, I mean, I got to say, there's some of the legislature people we have in office. I mean, I know them personally. They're good guys and good gals, and they work hard. And but I wouldn't actually go to them because I think that's more in our ethics to not go and ask for a job. We don't do that. That's not our kind of thing. We believe in earning the job and getting out there and working hard to get the job. But I would say the 11K, that's just a very, really quick search and, doing a sum to figure out how much was spent. I'm sure there's a lot that I missed. I'm sure that there's a lot that I missed that I didn't catch. But that's what I caught so far, just on a quick scan of the 11K. And to be about the savings, so before anybody tries to say dirty about the recipient savings account, where we got our information, to be clear, I do have the actual the expense filing right here on the screen. You can see it says it's the receiver is the person who's responsible, or the group that's responsible for the money. So it's coming from Shear for Assembly, and it's going. The recipient is the person who's receiving it. Gary Scheer, is receiving $400,000 in an EFT check,
To a
and
savings
while
account.
it's to a savings account, it says contribution to savings account. Now, I'm not going to try
Is that
and guess
legal?
what that is.
Is that,
It's I'm assuming it's legal because no one said anything. I mean, but to put it out there, that could be, and if there's no malfeasance, fine, but it could be. Maybe there's a savings account for the shear for assembly, but I would have thought that a recipient would say savings account for shear for assembly, but it doesn't. It just has the candidate's
yeah.
name,
Mhm.
which is fishy sounding, to be
If you want,
honest.
if you want money in politics, go be a Democrat.
Especially if your job is to be a legislature. You would think if your job is to be just somebody who's in office and holding office, and you've never had a private job, you've always been a public job like Joe Biden, you would think that you would know that that would be something fishy that you wouldn't want to have on your record, and you
I
would
don't
want to
know. I
have it
mean, if it's
changed
legal, why not? If it's legal, they don't care. Nobody's looking at them. I mean, they pay themselves a salary out of their
if it's
campaign,
legal.
okay, okay, they pay themselves a salary out of their campaign. It's very profitable. We don't see the Republicans doing nearly as good as this. But we're going to look into
No,
that too. We're going to start doing, when we get through the legislative districts, we're going to start stacking finances between the parties and between the candidates. And what I think we're going to see is a very lopsided. I don't want to contaminate the analysis, but we're already starting to see indicators that being part and working with a Democrat machine makes you
hmm
money. And I can
yeah.
tell you emphatically that it does not on the Republican side. I've experienced that.
Well, I would caution to say that in many of the many there are districts that there are Republicans have more numbers. What we see here are is not as bad
Mhm.
in Republican districts, but there are districts where there's a lot of money being spent. I mean, that does happen. We do have candidates that are good candidates that hold down the seat that are people do go to, and I'm glad that they're donating to a candidate and not to the party. But what we're seeing from the Democrats is where are they getting their money? That's one of the questions that has to be answered, I think, in some form, right? I mean, because we do have Republicans who get a lot of money. There's one that comes off the top of my head that I know he spent $1.2 million in his campaign race, and he's a state senator, and he was a former leader of the party.
Mhm.
So you know, something to think about. Those are the numbers. Not so. I'm not contaminating the analysis. I'm just keeping it real.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we did the slides. We talked about the candidates' pictures. These guys. I mean, you can see what they're like. Um, these are the people that have to be beat. There's no doubt about it. And
Well,
knowing
they're
the
not
face
winning
of
by
your
a lot.
opponent, and they're not. They're not. Um,
Mhm.
and we did the Google Sheets. Did you need anything more on the Google Sheets?
No, let's go to the numbers so people can see the numbers for the election and see how
All right.
close it.
So this is the old district. This is 2021's camp election.
Mhm.
You'll see these are all the towns over here. This
Mhm.
is the state senate campaign, Aremia, and Craig is, I think, the one who's the firefighter. I'm not
Mhm.
sure about this one, but
He's
I
all
know,
over Facebook. He's all over social media. He's working hard. He's door
yeah,
knocking. He's working hard. He's getting no support, but he's working hard.
right. And so he did do significant. I mean, the Democrats 5,600 46 that the sheer won by 5,112 took the numbers from the highest of the Republicans, and then this one's the high Democrat,
Hmm.
this one's the high Republican. So I
Hmm.
compared these two, and then I compared these two.
Yeah.
Over here we have 6,099 votes that the Democrat Sarlo won by, and this is again the 2021 race. As we look at the dollar figures, like you pointed out before, you have just straight up uh, 2.8 million dollars was spent by Sarlo's campaign, 2.2 million by Shear, and 444,000 by the real estate developer. Calabrese.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to look at these slides, Joe, I'll pull up a couple of the slides from here. This is the Senate race.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, the 36th Senate race, we have the GOP, Dem, and this is the 21. You can see the registered number of registered voters is in yellow. Voter votes cast
Votes
is in
cast in
green,
green.
and the
And then the
green and
breakdown
the
between Republican and Democrat. And as you
yeah,
can see, it's pretty neck and neck. It's not
yeah, yeah,
significantly Democrat. It's pretty neck and neck.
yeah. It's a pretty even fight through most of the
Mm-hmm.
district, through
Mm-hmm.
most of
Mm-hmm.
the old district. Um, this is the chart from
Mm-hmm.
the 36 registered voters in the new district. So you can look at independents are in like the orangish color, Republicans
Mm-hmm.
obviously red, and blue is the Democrats. Now, Passaic, you can see, is a big lopsided area, but Passaic is actually going to break. Um, well, it's not going to break Republican, but it's going to have Republican support. It's going to split the numbers. It's about half are going to vote Republican and half are going to vote Democrat
Mm-hmm.
in the old election seats. So you can see it's a tougher district. It's turned into a tougher district.
Yeah.
There's no shaking this any other way.
Yeah.
It's turned into a tougher district.
Mm-hmm.
Um, having said that, looking at the actual district, you can see from these numbers over here that are now on the screen. And I don't know if I can make this. I don't think I can make it full screen. Can I? You can see that the differences again. Though it's not that much difference. Percentage wise, it's close to being the same. 6,300 would be a Democrat win. On this one, it's 6,000, whereas opposed on the other, I think it was 5,000, and this one is 5,000. So there's a possibility of doing what was done in the 11th district, where you could have assembly seats taken, and maybe not the state senate, but this is
Mm-hmm.
all in play, like we've talked about before, and we can talk about with candidates about how the numbers should break down, where you can win. To be clear, the towns that were taken out of the new district, I have that over here. They lost Little Ferry, they lost Minucci, they lost Ridgefield Park, South Hackensack, and Teterboro. They lost those four,
And those are
and
areas that the Republicans seem to vote more in. They got more vote. Those are Republican areas they lost, right?
right, and they gained in Edgewater. They gained Edgewater, which is a Democrat stronghold, and Fairview, which is a Democrat stronghold. You can see
Well, when
the
they're
two.
spending 5.5 million on an election, it seems that the gerrymandering is going to suit them.
Right. Well, and this map does not favor Republicans, except for in a couple places
Mm-hmm.
which we've talked about, and those are places that are generally held by I hate to say it, existing Republican seats. They help out those seats so far. Those that might change. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're only like 5 districts out of 40 in, but it seems like it's favoring certain, you know,
Yeah,
Republicans who have
the
held
dynamic
office.
might change when we get into South Jersey, but what we're seeing here is a consistent pattern of
Yeah,
neck and neck races, Republican candidates left alone, flapping for themselves, the Democrats
yeah.
steamrolling them by 20 to 50 times more money. That's what we're seeing.
Hmm.
Mhm. And
And I
then
mean, you see. Go ahead.
when you have over half or over half of all registered voters being unaffiliated,
Yeah.
the person who spends the money is going to win those votes.
Yep.
They're going to win those votes.
Yeah.
So money's winning these elections, and the Republicans just can't figure it out. And not, at
Yeah.
least not in North Jersey.
And I know we're not doing the strategic analysis here, but I mean,
Mhm.
just looking at these numbers, there's uh there's 23 in North Arlington. There's 2,300 Republicans who are registered Republicans. The state Senate got 2,267. I
Mhm.
mean, again, we've said this before. Either 90% of Republicans are coming out, which they're not,
Mhm.
or there's and that shows actually in this chart here. you can see. You can see it in this one. This one much better.
You can add up
North
with what we
Arlington.
got here. We can actually add up how many Republican votes were left on the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you
And
look at this, 94%, 95% Republicans came out. If you consider every vote that the Republican got being a Republican and not an
mhm,
independent,
yeah,
and you can see that with 90% with Lyndhurst, another
hmm
Republican stronghold, and pretty much they're all, except
hmm
for one down here, they're all above 50%, whereas the Democrats are, not.
yeah, they're not coming out. They're not coming out.
Which, I mean, there's a telling factor there
Oh,
that
here's the
you're
telling factor. Here's the telling factor. The Democrats run these massive registrations, and
yeah.
then they register a lopsided amount of people who normally don't, who really don't want to vote. And then, of course, we have the iffiness of how do those registrations become votes if those people never show up or mail it in, but somehow they do,
Right.
right? But it's
Right.
the reason they're so lopsided is because of the massive registration drives they run and pay for that we don't do as a Republican Party. I don't see
And
Republicans running registration drives.
well, the registration drives are supposed to be nonpartisan, but you can
Sure.
still go out there and get people out there to vote. You can still go,
Yeah.
like, you can go out there and go someplace and get people registered. But
Well,
I think the other telling,
I offer that nonpartisan is a deception. There's no such thing. There's no
yeah,
such
I agree.
thing.
I agree. I would say, though, the other side of this, which we've mentioned, but I want to
Yeah,
drive it home as a factor,
yeah.
is the Democrats spent $150,000 on the county party spent $150,000 on getting out the vote, which goes into the mail-in voting, which goes into the other factors that we've talked about in the past. Whereas Republicans in Bergen County have spent, and here's almost half of their budget of $115,000 goes to rent, and they spent
Oh yeah. When
zero.
we showed that
They
when we did the LD 38
30
analysis.
yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
mean, it comes down to the same thing.
Bergen Republican Party pays for a fancy schmancy office and doesn't support
Yeah,
their candidates
yeah.
except the
Uh,
chosen few for uninteresting reasons.
Yeah, and the what the well, let's put it this way: what the Democrats spent on just on the get out the vote was more than the Republicans spent in the entire year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
and half of what the Republicans spent went to rent. So it
Yeah.
doesn't, there, there's lack of support on the highest levels, and there's a reason for that. There's got to be a reason for that, and you'll hear you'll hear that it's got to do with, well, people don't come out to vote, or to come out to the campaign stuff. They don't donate money. Why are they not donating money? I mean, Joe, you, as in the you use this phrase of, you're not on, if the flag's not on Mount Suribachi, then the mission has not been accomplished, right?
Yeah, no, that's
So
what my old commander would say, whose dad fought in every island hopping campaign in the Pacific, or most of them. He used to say, "Gentlemen, whenever we would be getting briefed," and this was Milley, who's now the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. When he was a brigade commander, he was my brigade commander, and whenever the staff would go on and start briefing all these semantics and nonsense, and you get this analysis that just went around in circles, he would say, "Gentlemen, we are in a results-oriented business. Is the flag on Mount Suribachi, or is the flag not on Mount Suribachi?" So I look at that in terms of politics, because I hear losing politicians and losing
yeah,
parties come up with these crazy. We really did great. No, you didn't. You lost. You lost. Oh, considering you didn't know support, I got it. But here's what we're looking at, like Oriyama. He is out there every day pounding the pavement. He is working
mhm,
his ass off. He has a great vision. He has a great strategy. He's got great points. But when you have a juggernaut that is buying votes and buying messaging,
yeah,
and wait until you see the contributions of who contributes to these guys. I
yeah,
love the union, the working class union, donating to these Dems who obviously are aristocrats. The collegiate professional politician, the
hmm
COO of the hospital, who's a business school grad, and the young real estate developer who I seriously doubt he's a guy who brought himself up from his bootstraps. The unions are giving these guys their money, but yet a fireman is running and they won't give him any. The
Right.
hypocrisy of these unions is disgusting. Oh, well, the Democrats are going to take care of us. They're going to give us jobs. Will
Yeah.
they? That's another analysis. Is this
Well,
really happening? Who are they
who are
giving?
they really giving? Who are they giving the jobs to? Are they giving it to the union, which is then going to help the bosses, or are they giving it to the union, and eventually it's going to help the union guys? I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of public jobs out there that get done. So you want to see the contributions, Joe?
Yeah, go to the contributions. Jim, this is probably the best slide I've seen you do in getting this. This was beautiful,
And
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 we're going
again,
to start doing more of this. We're going to start doing
and
more of
this
this.
and this is straight from the New Jersey Elect
What a
contributions. Again,
fundraiser
this is
this guy
public
is, though.
information.
Share.
Yeah,
I mean, if
yeah,
he's got a talent for fundraising,
yes, he
450K.
does.
So he's got he's running against a fireman and an electrician that have no money, and he's
Yep.
still able to draw 450 grand. I don't think these are passionate people trying to give him money to fight the mean conservatives. I think what they're doing,
No.
I think they're paying for something by donating to him. And he still only won by 53. He only won by 3.9%.
Yeah. And if you look at everybody on the screen is either a PAC or a union.
Yeah.
And so you have the NJEA, of course. You
Hmm.
got the New Jersey State Policemen's Benevolent Association, PAC.
Well, they got to
Uh,
donate because that's their appointments.
right,
The police are going to donate to whoever's in power. That's just going to be. I X them out because if you're a police agency, you got to be loyal to the person who owns your job and gives you your orders.
right.
Well, so they're so like I love it when they'll turn around and they'll say, "I got the support from the New Jersey State Police Union or the FBI." Yeah, you got their support because they always support the incumbent because they have the others. I don't give them a break. Like
Unless
8 through 5.
you're Beetlejuice in Chicago. I just want to put out there, unless you're Beetlejuice in Chicago, she didn't get supported from the police. She
Well,
lost her race because of
when
that.
you're actively ruining their careers and when
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
actively
No, no,
trying
of
to put
course.
them in
Yep.
jail, at that point you got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I agree.
And
So
I do give the New Jersey I'm going to give the ready, Jim. Are you ready? I'm going to
go.
give the New
I'm
Jersey
ready. Lay it
Democrats.
on me.
I'm going to give the New Jersey Democrats credit for something. I'm not talking the crazy lefties. I'm talking the actual New Jersey Democrat Party, which is a business. It's not a political organization. It's a business, in my view. They do not screw the cops to like the other Democrat parties in other states do. They did
Yeah,
not
no,
fall
you're right
for that
about that.
craziness. They did not.
Yep,
Mm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Um, so you look at some of these dollar figures. I mean, okay, so the top of the line 8,200 is the most that the packs can give, and they're
Mhm.
getting it from some very large packs. And I mean, you go down the list. You don't
Wait,
get into
above
a
Valley National Bank,
yeah,
AT&T, Pac, New Jersey. These are
yeah,
all things the Republicans can get. Realtors Pac,
yes,
the
yeah.
Comcast.
And you don't get into the individual ones until you get down to the $2,600
Yeah.
mark on the next page.
Oh,
So
the Florio.
all
That
these,
sounds like a familiar name.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's interesting because down here there's the all kinds of still some packs, but mostly individuals,
Hmm.
and you start seeing who they are. I mean, we're not going to attack these individuals, but the point is right. The point is the money's coming from
Oh,
not a
Gottheimer.
little,
That's Gottheim. I thought that was Gottheimer. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
An auto body shop donating to a Democrat. A
and look
small.
at this. New Jersey Public Charter Schools Action Fund donated.
The
This
Democrats eat the charter schools.
and it doesn't make sense, right? But again,
It makes sense because whoever's writing the
it's
check for
who's
this
in power.
donation is
Yep.
getting something from them. He's
Yeah.
getting something from them.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Um, advocates for great Camden schools. Camden is, for those of you who don't know, Camden is in South Jersey.
It's on
We
the
are
other
on
side of the
literally
state.
the opposite end of the state.
Yeah.
Opposite end of the state. Yet advocates for great Camden schools
Yeah.
is giving them $1,000. I
Because
wonder
they
why.
want this guy to
Wonder
vote
why.
on something for them to benefit
Yeah.
them and or give them a job or something like that. Yeah, look at all the people who donate to this guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good council, food
The
council committee
Fraternal
for
Order of
good
Police go for
government.
you. Food Council Government for Good Government. Don't elect Democrats. You're not going to get good government, man. Yeah,
Yes,
you're not
the
going to get good
Fraternal Order
government.
of Police, New Jersey Lodge. You know, it's there, man. It's there. Even the
The
foot
funeral
people, the New
directors,
Jersey
Pat,
put, the New Jersey
podiatry.
put Medical Society. Isn't that something?
But
I didn't even know
Jim,
that
the
was a fact.
Republicans should be going after them and saying, "Why aren't
Yes,
you donating to us?" Well, and
yes,
I
I
know what they're
agree.
going to say no because they're going to say, "Hey, Republican Party, what do you do for us?" And there's no
Exactly.
strategy to do it. I've never once in 2.5 years listened to any Republican talk about we need to benefit this industry. We need to stimulate this industry. We need to do it
Yeah.
this way. You never hear that. All you hear is Dems are bad. Dems are bad. That's all you hear. But if they can't, you got to be able to bring in money and you got to be able to demonstrate a plan or an effort. So have a event that you sponsor. Don't ask for money. And then the
Hmm.
GOP, with all the money in their coffers, should run a dinner. And then during this dinner, you give a speech to one of these industries and you talk about that industry and you ask for their input on their industry. And then you say, donate to me, elect to me, and this is what I'll get done for you. And then follow up with an actual event to ask for donations or go during the event that you sponsor, hand out donation forms and say, look, guys, this is my thing.
Right.
This is what I want to do. I have this subject matter expert on your industry. I flew him in from wherever he went. He's the world authority on whatever you're doing, and he can do analysis for you. If I'm in office, I'm going to have the government hire a consultancy. I'm going to establish grant programs, loan programs for your the small businesses affiliated with your industry. This is what the GOP should be doing. They're
Yeah,
obviously not.
and this is kind of, and maybe I'm wrong. You know, call me wrong. The quote unquote experts out there, you can call me wrong if you want, but this is something that the party itself is supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be getting their hands in there and doing that. It's not really. It'd be great if the candidates had the time to do that, but really,
No,
candidates
Canada
should be
can't do that.
knocking on doors, getting out there, getting the job done that way, and then try. And because I wonder, I'm going to ask this question: Mr. Legislature, who doesn't have a job other than working for the public and siphoning money off of the for the public from the
Yeah,
public funds,
he's a real winner. Yeah,
are you going out and knocking on doors?
I doubt that
Do
guy.
you really think that guy's out there knocking on doors? Do you really think the kid who's somehow a real estate magnate developer is out there knocking on doors? Do you really think that the guy who should be a Republican smells like a Republican but is actually a Democrat?
Well,
That
here's what I
Senator
do.
Sarlo.
Here's what I feel
Do you think
safe
he's knocking
assuming.
on doors?
Here's where I feel safe assuming.
Yeah.
Oriyama, the fireman and the electrician are doing a lot more door knocking than those guys are.
Well, and I got to tell you, Joe, and from what I'm looking at, and I'm looking at their Facebook page on the other screen, they're running. They're doing it again.
Well,
They're
I'm
they're
I'm on the Oriyama. I get alerts for.
yeah.
He's the real deal. He's a good man. We're gonna send him a
The
copy of
the
this analysis. He's a good dude.
the team is still in play, and I mean they were on Real Talk with Ronnie, Ronald Lynn's show, and they did some they got stuff going on. They were at the Lincoln Breakfast in Bergen County. They got
When is the GOP gonna help them?
uh,
Why
I
doesn't
hope
the state
soon.
GOP? This is a great district. This is 124,000 registered voters. You're telling me the New
Yeah,
Jersey's grand old party isn't going to help these guys get elected?
I'm gonna say something that might be controversial.
Oh no!
I don't. I'm gonna say maybe they can't. The way the system is in Bergen County now, maybe they can't help them.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Because
Maybe that is controversial. I mean,
Bergen
maybe
County
they're
is a
just not capable
Shakespearean
of
epic.
doing it.
It's a Shakespeare. The Bergen. It's a Shakespearean epic of drama and intrigue. Yeah.
Maybe they're just not capable of doing it. I mean, that's something to consider. I mean, again, I haven't run a county party. I'm not interested in running a county party. I would simply say, um, like your example, Joe, that your commander said. Is the flag on Mount Suribachi? It's not. And the flag is not getting any closer to the top.
But I mean, if you
And
can't donate directly to a candidate for whatever reason, donate to somebody to donate to the candidate. I mean, the Dems do
or
it.
or
Get away with it.
or do what you just suggested. Reach out to these people. See who talk to the union people, see what they want, or just talk to the why is the orthopedic people going to the Dems? I mean, is there some kind of law that's going to pass that's going to require people to get orthopedics? I mean, why? It doesn't make sense to me. What is it that they're gaining out of it? I mean, are they giving to the Republicans? Because if they are, I mean, the
We're
Vizio and
going to do that.
Arimo
We're
don't
going to do
get
some
it.
analysis. We're going to do some analysis where we stack the donors. We're going to get these are the Republicans. These are who's donating to who. We're going to
Yep.
show who donates to both. We're going to show the exclusive. We're going to have a donor analysis episode.
Right.
And we could do, we're not going to do it district by district. We're going to cut the surface of it because we don't have the time. But when we're going to go statewide, especially for the big elections, we're going to do a donor analysis side by side, and look at it from that way. But show the
we gotta tap into the people who are willing to help and donate, and I don't think that's being done. So what do you want me to show?
Oh, the expenditures, the fun stuff.
The
Where they spend all their
the
money.
the Excel sheet.
Yeah, show where they spend all their money on the bagels and the pizza and the yeah.
So here's the food and beverage list. That's J, column J. I don't know if you
Is there a
can
way to
see it
expand it?
down there. Let's see. I'm not used to working with Excel.
Oh, go up to the top right-hand corner and hit the box. For someone who's not used to working with Excel, you built some pretty good Excel models.
I'm used to doing sheets. That's why.
I think that's as expanded as it's going to show based on the graphics of the video,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Like I said, I'm on a larger HP laptop right now, so I can see it. But for those of you watching this, go hit that little button. I know a lot of us came from an era where we didn't grow up with computers. Go to the top right, hit that little square button, and it will maximize this. Bottom right. Go to the bottom right of the video. Hit the button, the little square button, and it maximizes the whole video, and you can see it. Oh yeah, Jim's blowing it up. So yeah, it's a good one. Hit the view, expand the view, and then slide it across. But yeah, look at this. Food and beverage.
Food and beverage. I mean, you got $20. You can't see what it is, but these are the bagel purchases, and
$36. The
bagel munch.
Oh. That's that's probably a bag of bagels, a couple of drinks, a couple of coffees.
Yeah.
But what does this say? They're spending money on their people. You knock on doors from them. They spend money. They spend money for you. They feed you. When I went and knocked on doors for Youngkin down in Northern Virginia, the group that was doing it for the RNC, or I don't know if they technically were for the RNC, but the group that was doing it to support Youngkin, that PAC, they're the guy who ran it. They paid for the hotels and they fed us. And
Joe, they took them to steakhouse.
And they covered our gas. They covered my gas. They paid me 90-something bucks to cover my gas and tolls to drive to Northern Virginia.
Joe, they spent. This is all this 100, 400. That's a steakhouse, man. That's a steakhouse.
Oh no, I didn't get a steakhouse. When I went and did the Youngkin campaign, I got local barbecue in a tray in the motel. That's what they fed us. There was no fancy steakhouses. Nope. I love fancy steakhouses.
Pizza. I mean, but this guy got steakhouse. Look at this. He got steakhouse. It's like $400 or $500 for the.
Oh boy, and bistros, trendy bistros, steakhouses. Yeah. It's fun to be a Democrat. It's
Great
fun.
Falls Bistro, Jerusalem Pizza.
Well, pizzeria is okay. Buy the boys some pizza. I get it. Who's Cod Jr.?
No idea what Cod.
Oh, the wine bar, dude. Did you see the wine bar? Noble
Wine and Grill.
Nobles that's nice. That's expensive. Yeah. Oh, Starbucks, because we don't have gas station coffee as Democrats. We spend $5 for a cup of coffee.
$3.70 and $2.50 for the through the wine bar. Nice.
It's fun to be a Democrat operative, man. You get
Yeah.
wine bars, you get steakhouses. Wow.
Bakeries, point. Oh, look, they go to a diner, Joe.
Well, they did
I
go to
was
a
wrong. The
that
Point
must have been that
Diner.
must
They
have
went
been to
to the
meet
Point Diner.
that must have been to go meet
$100.
huh? Yeah,
They
let's
dropped
go meet the people
a
who we don't think
Benjamin.
wash. That's what that was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they went to the Point Diner and they got 100. They spent $100. Nice.
yeah. They
Yeah, I
order
mean,
stuff
this
on
is
Amazon. They order stuff on Amazon. This is pretty
yeah,
cool.
office supplies. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get some. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
sure what
no Republican leader in our area ever took me to a steakhouse.
they pay for parking, Joe. They
Not
pay
as
for
I mean
parking.
socially, but never as a socially we hang out, but we pay our way. I never remember as part of a party function or doing something political where they sponsored or covered us in any way, shape, or form.
They pay for parking in a different state. In Brooklyn, they pay for parking. Isn't that something?
They pay for
Look at
Brooklyn,
that.
New York. What were they doing in Brooklyn,
Yeah,
New York?
it's a great question.
Campaigning for New Jersey and Brooklyn, New York.
Must
You
have
know what
been.
that was. You know what that was. That was going to get donors. They were going to get
Yeah.
donors in Brooklyn. They were going to a very heavily Democrat area. It's probably up in downtown Brooklyn, probably up by Park Slope. And they were going to all those yuppies, and they were getting donations from them. That's what they were doing.
Then,
Oh,
then they got their
while we in Sussex County are obsessive about if you're not born here, you don't get to talk, or if you're
yeah.
we don't do anything outside our county because we're a cult. While we're like this, the Democrats are going from county to county, state to state, and they're actually getting resources. And we can't think
Yep.
like that here. We don't think like
Now,
that here.
they got their Verizon bill paid. Just done that. They went to the
Atlantic
casinos. Look
City.
at that, Joe.
What's the Borgata in Atlantic City? That's Borgata is an Italian
That's
term for a neighborhood. It means it's like neighborhood in Italian is what a Borgata is. Is
They
Borgata
went down
it's a
to
restaurant? I think.
casinos, man. They went down to casinos. Look, they went down to Washington D.C. there, and
All
of
part of the
course, there's
campaign.
what's that?
This is all part of their 5.5 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And so they money. These are probably
flowers.
service
Look at this.
charges.
They're sending people flowers. Look at this. They're sending
Yeah,
people flowers.
Avers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we send people flowers in our GOP?
No, no,
I don't think we
no.
send flowers.
Lots FedEx. There's
That's
more
a business
more
expense. I get FedEx. Lots of
florist,
flowers. Lots
Joe.
of
Your
flowers.
family
Facebook.
florist. Is
Oh,
that
you know what the
business expense?
Facebook is for? You know what the Facebook is for? They're
What's that
boosting their
for?
posts. They're
Yeah,
boosting their
yeah,
posts.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
so when
they
I do
spent.
when we do stuff for the Republican parties and we do anything with money, we don't get compensated. Hey, you're on
Yeah,
your own. And don't say you're a Republican when you do this. You're doing this as a private citizen. That's what we get.
yeah.
This is what they're doing. They're paying their operatives to boost their posts. That's what they're doing.
Mhm. So they got the USPS. Okay, we can expect that. We got the Bergen Record, New York
New York Times,
Times.
gives the media. Oh, why can't us Republicans get media support?
Yeah. They got the North Jersey Media, the Star Ledger, some computer stuff,
Yeah.
limos, taxi cabs, man. Oh
Yeah, they
man, more
expense everything.
Verizon bills.
You know,
Yeah,
if
they
I get
do.
told, if I go to an event or do something with our GOP, I don't go to them and say, "Hey guys, I spent this much money on gas." I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah,
These are
they
some
get
cheap
water
ass
from Kentucky. They get their water from Kentucky probably for their office.
water from. Oh, yes, because drinking our New Jersey water is so disgusting
Yeah,
to them. They have to order it from
yeah,
Kentucky where it's cleaner. By the way, on my farm, I just had a filter put in, and the guy's like, "Why are you even doing this? You have the cleanest water possible." I'm up on the
yeah.
Kittatinny Ridge. And my well water is phenomenal. That's why my meat tastes so good from my cattle, my veal and my beef, because the water is just so superb that they drink. It's essential to good food, to good
Mm,
protein sources. But interesting. Wow.
yeah.
Hey, let's do this. Next time you need a few bucks, let's go work on a Democrat campaign. Let's go be Democrats for a week and see how much money we can make.
Go undercover, Joe. Is that what you're saying? We should go undercover.
No, I'm going to be openly honest and say, hey, I just want to get paid. We just want to get paid. We're going to be Democrats for a week and see how much we can make. They'll probably be like,
You
"Oh,
know,
good, come on, knock on doors, yeah."
I don't think I could do that. I think I'd have to pass.
Neither can I. I'm being absurd because of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
absurdity. I'm observing absurdity, and I'm presenting absurdity to reflect upon it.
You make a great point that it is completely absurd that we're so close in these races, and we're losing, and it is because of money, and it is, but the money isn't. The money has to come from somewhere, but somehow the Democrats are able to get the money, and Republicans are not. Why is that happening that way? And again, I'm going to say there are Republicans who are getting money in the state. Like there are Republicans in the state who are raising money, and to the point of $1 million or $2 million they're raising for their campaign. Why can't we in other parts of the county and other parts of the state do that?
All right, so here's why. Not that it's a good reason, but here's what they say. Well, we're not going to waste money on a Democrat strong. Like, why won't the RNC support Republicans in New Jersey? And why won't all the various national level PACs enter New Jersey? The
Mm-hmm.
upfront comment is, well, the Democrats are too strong there. Wow, but as we're seeing
Apparently,
the
they're
numbers,
not
they're
though.
not. They're
Yeah,
not.
they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
You
Yeah.
know when I first got here and all that, and my story. So, but I'm not going to go into that. But when I first started getting active, I'd meet so many conservatives. And they never do anything for the party or for the cause, but they're all about talking about their values all the time. And it's a goner. The Democrats are winning. They're going to beat us and all that kind of stuff. And then when you look at it, they really aren't.
Yeah,
They really
and
aren't that medicine.
I'm willing to believe. I'm willing to believe that there's a couple things going on, that the pendulum is swinging back, but the really big thing is people are just fed up. They're just fed up. And that's what it comes
Oh no,
down
no,
to.
the Dems are losing steam big for a couple of
Yeah.
reasons. Number one, they truly are freaking crazy. I mean, they truly are almost demonically crazy. I mean, look at the last Sparta school board. I mean, here's a book that's talking about girls as young as 13, 14, wanting to lose their virginity, do drugs, and be in orgies. And they want to put that book in a middle school. They want to show. I mean, it's not a book banning. You're not going to show porn and erotica to kids. That's not exposing them to and teaching them. Oh well, in great literature they have it. No, in literature it's in the context and the dynamic of the human condition. Romeo and
Right.
Juliet may be dirty, but it's in the context of all this drama and all this character development. What you're seeing the Dems want to put on kids. I mean, that book. What was that book? It was basically a manual it's basically the Kama Sutra. This isn't helping any kid learn. This isn't increasing, and this is what our taxpayer dollars are paying for. And then the drag queen story out, and then their obsession with little kids, and then and we could just go on and on. We don't want to make this video a bash the Democrat video. We do it enough when we're out doing our own thing. So you're looking at a GOP that raises money for chosen candidates in chosen areas and either doesn't believe they can take the state or they don't want to. One of the two. But I have no, just from these districts that we've done, if you would have shown up and backed the candidates that were there, you don't even need to change the candidates. And you were just to give them half or a quarter of what the Democrats spend, there's no doubt in my mind they'd win the election.
It's not even that. I mean, if you looked at and not to hash the numbers, but if you looked at and this is probably a good spot to make the point. If you look at the Calabrese proves our point, Joe, what you're saying, because Calabrese, he has $9.20, right? He's spending, and compared to the other two, but yet he still pulled in, he's 500 votes shorter than Scheer, but he did well. Even the Democrats are proving that they can,
even with that little amount of money, he still pulled in what was expected. So,
right.
I mean, imagine if the Republicans would have spent that. Remember when you looked at the percentages? There were areas where the Republicans 60%, 70%. We left a lot of votes on the table, and we're in an era where election turnouts are maxed out.
Yeah.
So we left a
And I
lot of votes
think
on the table.
the Democrats have done that too. I think that people are rejecting them. I think that's part of the issue.
Oh yeah, we are seeing that. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
seeing a
they're
big
being
rejection
rejected.
on them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's
Okay. I
helping the
mean,
Republicans.
like I don't know. If you. I mean, I grew up in a house of Kennedy and FDR Democrats. My
Mm.
dad became a Republican under Reagan, but for the most part, my entire family on both sides, were, because of the Great Depression, were hardcore Democrats. I got news for
Yeah,
you.
when I was
I have
when I
no.
was born, my daddy slapped me in the ass and said, "You're a Republican."
Yeah. But here's the point I'm making is that I grew up in a house where Roosevelt was a god, FDR, and John F. Kennedy was a hero, and all that stuff. I don't think any of them would have looked twice at the Democrat Party today. They would not recognize it at
Nah,
all.
not even
I
close.
mean, you're going to tell my old conservative, traditionalist Catholic family
Yeah,
and relatives that they want to, they're going to give up porn and teach alternate lifestyles in schools, and they're going to condemn
yeah. No,
religion. The Dems hate religion.
JFK would be at the board meeting, yelling and screaming at those people, saying in his Harvard accent, "You're killing our kids." That's
Oh,
what
look
he
how
would
they
have
hate
said.
religion. I mean, just go on the
Yeah,
Democrats' websites, social media. They hate religion with a. It's almost demonic. It's almost like when you read these exorcist books and these
yeah,
exorcist stuff. The way they hate religion. A buddy of mine got up in a county commission meeting one time, and there was a lot of Dems there screaming about something, and he just said a prayer from the Bible, and they freaked out. Jim, they were like freaking out that he got up there and said a prayer at the county commission meeting. You think he threw acid on him?
yeah. I mean, they're triggered. I guess they're triggered, huh?
Oh yeah. Religion
Yeah.
really triggers them, and anything that's good triggers them. But so there we have it. If we're gonna wrap up, I would say we wrap up with the idea is that even when the Dems know they're gonna win, the Republicans are dramatically under resourced. They still
Right.
spend all this money on themselves. We see that they've accessed a wide variety of donors. They're very good at raising money. They get
Hmm.
support from their own Democrat Party, which our candidates don't locally, and they pay themselves pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
they write,
It,
they write themselves checks. Hey, I ran
yeah.
hard, I worked hard. I'm just going to write myself a multi six-figure check and put it in my savings account.
Yeah, I think the eye opener here is also, who's paying them, why are they paying them so
Mhm,
much, and what is the point? What is the gain out of it, if any?
mhm.
And I would also say, if you don't want to see your money being spent by somebody to feed their bagel habit, or to if you're concerned that
Yeah.
you're paying for somebody's trips to Brooklyn and you can't even cross the GW with the high cost of crossing the GW, then maybe you shouldn't be putting money towards a group of candidates that are doing that. Maybe you should put them towards the hardworking blue collar firefighter
Electrician,
and electrician,
firefighter,
and maybe you should be putting your money there. Because they're not going to take it to Brooklyn. They're going to use it in New Jersey, in your district, and get the idea out of who's the better candidate. I'm just saying. I mean, common sense is what it is, and if you're part of one of those groups, you should register a complaint with your union boss and say, "I don't want my money to go to the guy who's a professional politician who's never had a private job in his life. I want my job to go to the firefighter. I want my money to go to the firefighter. I want my money to go to the electrician. They're the
it's
ones who are more connected
with
to me."
union donations. I think of a quote by Karl Marx. Remember,
Hmm.
I've read Karl Marx extensively. Fascinating stuff. And he had a saying where Karl Marx goes, "We will kill the capitalists. We will hang the capitalists after we sell them the rope that we're going to hang them with."
Hmm.
Meaning that the capitalists are so much into money, they will actually kill themselves with their greed, is what Marx was trying to say.
Hmm.
That applies here with the unions. They're donating to the Democrats to get jobs, they say. But what they're really doing is paying for a party with its belief in outsourcing and globalism that will
Hmm.
put them out of business and will replace their members. The Dems
Yep.
will. The Dems want open border immigration. Nothing kills working class jobs more than that. Nothing.
Hmm.
Without a regulated, phased integration that is targeted, like entire American history did. The entirety of American history had a phased. Well, once we got up and running, I would say post Civil War, we had a very, very disciplined approach to immigration. With the Soros and the Open Society and the Dems want to just take up the border, just let everybody walk in. Oh, and by the way, anybody can vote. If you show up here, you can vote. That mentality will destroy working class jobs, and it will lower the quality of services for all of us. So it is not in the
Yeah.
interest of this nation to do so, and it is short-sighted and petty and pathetic that unions still are donating to the Democrats. But I
Hmm.
understand because the Republicans aren't giving them an option. We're not
Yeah.
going. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. Real quick, I would say, Passaic is one of those Abbott districts that we talked
Mhm.
about in our last show as well. So that's, there's somewhere up to 20,000 people who live in that district, that part of the district alone. Um, that's some hefty number of registered voters that are living in a district that is struggling to teach their kid.
Mhm. Mhm.
So just putting it out there. Um, if you're interested, look at our last video, LD11. We do a little bit of a breakdown on that. Take a look at it, find out what you can. And again, uh, this is LD36. Anything else, Joe?
Nah. It was fun. Everybody, thanks. Like and subscribe. You can follow us on Jim's Ballistic Patriot channel on Rumble and on my YouTube channel, Climb to Glory. That's where we post this stuff.
Yeah.
We're anxious to start doing strategy someday when maybe somebody will pay us. But this is the
Yeah.
analysis we're giving
And
free out of the kindness of our hearts.
this is because we want to fix New Jersey, and this
Mhm.
is the way to do it. So this is our second district in Bergen County, right? It's
Yeah.
not our third; it's our second district. We're going to be doing a whole. We're going to do all the Bergen districts next over the next couple days, weeks, and then we'll be moving around the rest of the state. But that's our
We've
Bergen
got a lot of
package.
requests to do Bergen, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah. We got a request to do Bergen, and we got a request to do South Jersey too, right?
Yeah,
So
we're getting we got
we're we're still
I find
waiting
it
on.
interesting. Yeah,
We're still waiting on some numbers from some places, so
yeah.
that's a bit of an issue.
But I find it how interesting it is that so many people and such significant people are asking us to do Bergen. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. All right. And on that note, Joe,
Everybody have a good night. See you
all
later.
right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.